So you got yourself a Raspberry Pi 5 and you want to host some more stuff on it. More specifically, can it run a Minecraft server? Well, in this one, we're going to find out. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Like I said in the intro, we're going to run a Minecraft server on our Raspberry Pi 5. We're going to do it in Pterodactyl in a Docker container. Yep, this is going to be a big one. Before we get into it, you'll have everything you need in the description below. It'll have links to the products we're using, as well as links to the documentation site where you can get everything that you need. With that said, let's get into it. So Pterodactyl is not really meant to run in Docker containers, and then you add on running it on a Raspberry Pi, it makes it even a little more difficult. So there's going to be a lot of commands and code that we're going to go through here. I have all of this on my documentation site in the description below. You can go click on that and go see everything, copy and paste. It'll be super easy for you. I did all the work for you. And before we do this, I just want to note, we're putting a Minecraft server on a Raspberry Pi. The performance is not great. It's really something just kind of fun to do. So this is maybe not very practical, but it is going to be fun. And some of the commands we're going to do, you're probably going to be like, I wouldn't do that in a production environment. I totally agree. But I also wouldn't be running this on a Raspberry Pi. So this is just something for fun and at home. With that said, let's get on into this. The first thing, obviously, we need to be SSH'd into our server, and I'm going to set everything up in the /opt folder. Once you're logged in, we need to edit this command line file. And the reason is the Raspberry Pi needs access to C groups. And so don't worry about all this stuff here. What we're going to do is we're going to take this little line of code, and at the end of this, we'll do a space and then we'll paste. And basically it's CPU set, memory group. So we'll go ahead and save that. And that's going to be, you can do Control O and then enter and then Control X if you're using Nano. And now we need to reboot the system. So we'll go sudo reboot now, and we'll come on back after it's restarted. Now that the system is rebooted, we need to start preparing our workspace. So we're going to make a directory, and this one's going to be called Pterodactyl, and we'll do that. We're in the Pterodactyl folder. The next thing we have to do is we need to create up a setup file, and this file is going to create all the permissions that allow the Docker container and the Linux hardware to talk to each other. So we will go sudo nano setup.sh, and we will copy and paste all of this fun stuff. And what this is going to do, it's going to go ahead and create some directories, set some ownership. And once again, when it comes to the ownership stuff, yes, we would not actually be doing this in a production environment. This is just for fun and at home. So once we have all that, we'll go ahead and save it. And you can see at the bottom, it says directories and permissions prepared. If everything's successful and we run it, that'll let us know that, hey, it was successful. Now we're going to run that file. So we'll do sudo bash setup.sh. And there we go. All the permissions were prepared successfully. Now we get into the fun part. We got to make our Docker compose file. We'll do sudo nano docker compose.yaml. And we have a big old Docker compose file here, and we'll go through it real quick. You can see here, it's going to create the network. We're going to have a database. So this needs to run off a database. And you can see here, the database is going to be called panel, the user's Pterodactyl, your password. We need to create that password, and then your root password. We got to create that password. We'll keep going down, and we have panel. It's going to be on port 80. Right here where it says app URL, we're going to put in your domain name. If you're going to do a reverse proxy on this, I'm going to do IP address. We got to do the password right here. And then we need to do our trusted proxy. So if you do have an Nginx server, you can type in that IP address there. And then we scroll down further and we can see, we don't need to mess with any of this stuff down here. So the two things we need to do here is set a password and the IP address. And if you want a password, I have a password generator over on my site. You can go over t4g.gg. It's the Tech for Good site. You'll see the password generator, link in the description below. And here you can definitely, change how many characters you want to put in here. I'll keep it at 12. If you want uppercase, lowercase, number, special characters, do generate. You can click generate multiple times and just get, random something. I'll use that. I'll click copy, then we'll go back over here. We'll go down to where we have to put our password. We'll delete that and paste our password. Same thing right here. And we'll keep going down, and we need to do the domain name right here. So for me, I'm just going to do my IP address to the server. For you, you can do your IP address, or you can do your domain name, whatever you're going to set up. And then for the DB password, it needs to be the same password as we did up above. So paste that there. Then we'll come down here and change the trusted proxy. Mine is 50.22. And that's all we have to do there. So let's go ahead and save it. LS here. We have all these directories set up. We have our setup sh we made earlier. Now we have our Docker compose. So back here at the prompt, let's do an ls. We can see we have our Docker compose we just created. Now it's time to run that. So we'll do sudo docker compose up, and then we'll do the -d. And it's going to go and start downloading all of the images and everything for the 4 containers we're going to be running. And then it'll get them installed and set them to start running. And after this is done, we'll look in Portainer to see if they're, working. It really just depends on how, what your internet connection is like, on how long this is going. So once it's done, we'll come on back and we'll take a look in Portainer. Okay, so it is all done and installed and running. And as you can see here, everything says started and created. We go back here to Portainer. We can see, yes, everything is running here. Even though everything is started and running, we're not done yet. If we go into Wings here, we could see it's missing a configuration file, and that's normal. And we're going to get there. We're going to create that in a second. So don't worry about that. And then if we go to panel here, and this is the big one, we go into the logs, we could see here, it says MySQL not found. And that's a big issue because it's not able to communicate with the database. And the reason is the MySQL client is not built into this image or this Docker file. So we need to manually inject it into there. Back over here in our terminal, it's clear. And the first thing we do is we need to install that client. So it's docker compose exec -u root panel apk add and then -- no cache MySQL client. Don't worry about this. It's in the documentation site. We'll run it. You see it's fetching it, installed, got 127 packages. Next thing we need to do is we need to copy the schema, and it's going to be this long command here. Again, documentation site, successfully copied. That's what we want. And now we have to actually import it into the image there. And you can see here, I got an error, access is denied. And the reason is I did not put my password here. So when we do this one, we need to make sure we put the password in there. And that password is what we set earlier in our Docker compose file. So we'll grab that password. Let's try that again. We'll go back here. We'll delete this. Paste our password in. And yes, we could have cut this out of the video, but I like showing you the errors because this is stuff you're going to run into. And I want to show you how you can kind of, solve this stuff. So we'll run that and we should not get any errors now. We are good to go. Love it. We're all done with that MySQL stuff. Now we have to do some small migrations. So there's a Docker compose exec panel PHP artisan migrate seed force. The next thing we'll have to do is continue on with the installation, and we're going to do the Docker compose. There we go. It installs this, and you can look at it if you want. It's updating the eggs, and the eggs are kind of like the games, I guess you could say, of how it, how they terminology they use in Pterodactyl. So you see we have Minecraft. Under that we have 5 different versions. We have Source Engine, which is Steam, and under there is all those games here. Voice servers, we can do a Mumble or TeamSpeak. So that all installed perfectly. We have no errors. They are up and running. We like that. Perfect. We're almost there. Now we need to make our username. So we'll do this one last command here. And is the user admin? Yes. For the email, put whatever you want. If you want to do your actual email, whatever. I'm just going to go z@z.com. But don't forget it because you're going to need that in a little bit actually. So username, whatever you want. First name, last name, whatever you want. And then enter in your password. You can see the requirements here for password generation. You can go back and use my password generator or do whatever password you want here. Just make sure you follow those rules and don't forget it. Then once you're done, you should have this box here. It says the UUID, the email, username, etc. The great thing now, we actually get to go into the UI and start doing some stuff. And here we go. We are at the login page for Pterodactyl. You're just going to go to the IP address of your server and enter in the username and password that you set up that we just, configured. So we'll go ahead and log in, and we are presented with the Pterodactyl homepage, and it is pretty boring. There's nothing really to this part. We can show our servers. There's nothing to display. What we're going to do is go up here to admin, and we got to create a location first. So we'll click on locations and then create new. I'm just gonna call mine homelab. You can call yours whatever you want. Then we got to do a node. And you can kind of think of a node as the server, or all of the resources that you're going to provide to the different games. So we'll create our node here, create new. We'll name this. I'll just call it Raspberry Pi 5, and location is homelab. If you want public or private, based on like how you want this to be shown, if you want to make it visible for public or friends or whatever, I'm just gonna leave it public. The domain here, or fully qualified domain name, you can put in either the IP address to the server or the domain name, however you set it up back in our Docker Compose file. So 192.168.50.35. Use a SSL connection or HTTP. I'm gonna go HTTP because I'm not doing a reverse proxy right now, and we're not behind a reverse proxy. If you are, you can click that. Over on the right side, the memory. This is the total memory from our system that we're gonna allocate to game servers. So I'm going to do just 2 gigs of RAM. I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to actually run this, but 2048, you do whatever you want there. Memory over allocation, I'm just going to go 0. Total disk space. So this is the total space from the system that you want to make available to game servers. I'll just do a gig. Over, we'll do 0. Leave these two how they are and click create node. Now we have to set IP address and port settings. This is going to make it so we can actually connect to the server. So your IP address here is just going to be whatever the IP address is for your server. We'll add that. And now we got to set a port, and that is going to be what goes on the end of the IP address. You know, what port is going to be used for the server. I'll just do the default Minecraft. I think it's 25565. Add that, and then we'll click submit. And once you click save, you'll have the IP address and the port here. Once your IP address is all set up, we're going to go click on nodes on the left side again, and it's going to refresh here. It still has a red heart because we're missing some stuff. We go back into the node here and go to configuration. You can see here, we have this configuration file. And down at the bottom, it needs to be placed in a config.yaml file. And this is a must. We can't, not do it. We have to do it. So we'll go back to our terminal. So back over here on our terminal, we're going to go ahead and paste this in sudo nano wings/config. You want to make sure you're still in your Pterodactyl directory. But if you're in your wings directory, you'll just go sudo nano config.yaml. We'll do that. And then we need to paste in all this fun stuff here. Let's take a look at it real quick. This is all the stuff that was given to us by that last screen. Just make sure it is all correct. The biggest thing is your remote server down here. That's what we want. So then once it's all done, we'll go ahead and save it. So we'll do Control O, enter, and then Control X. Now we need to restart Wings. So we'll do Docker Compose restart Wings, and it is all restarted. Now let's head back to Pterodactyl and start setting up the server. Once that's completed, we'll go back to the Pterodactyl dashboard and we should be good to go. So we'll go into nodes, and look at that right there. Our server has the green heartbeat. That is what we want. It means it's ready to go. Now that we know our node is all good to go, it's time to set up a server. So we'll go to servers, create new, and we'll call it Minecraft. Call it whatever you want. Server owner is going to be that email address you entered earlier. We're going to do Raspberry Pi 5 as our node. There's our allocation, the IP address, and the port. Database stuff, that's all can stay the same. And then under here, we have to do memory stuff. I'm just going to do 0 to let it use all of it. Disk space, I'll let it use all of it. And then we want to do Minecraft, paper. And the reason we want to do paper is because that one will work with the ARM architecture that the Raspberry Pi is. On the side here, the Docker image. So it does not work with Java 21. We have to go Java 17. The 21 at the time of this video does not work on the Raspberry Pi. Create server down there. And if we launch the server, you can see it's downloading the server files. We'll let it go through that. That's what we want. And you can see here, it downloaded the correct image. Perfect. Now that it has downloaded the image, we're going to click start. It's going to pull the Docker container image, and we are getting an error here. So it's not, running. And this error here is unable to access the jar file, the server.jar. So we need to go back into our terminal and paste in one more big old command, and we should be good to go. Before we head back into the terminal, we need to get this UUID. So we click on servers. You can see the UUID right here. We'll copy that. So we need that as part of this command that we're going to run. Back here in our terminal, we're going to paste in this command. What we need to do is where mine says the C1CCCA, that is the UUID that we got back here off of the server list. So we'll go ahead and enter there, and it's going to go through, and that's good to go. We like it. Now, if we go back to our server, we should be able to start it up. So we're in here, we'll click start, downloading the jar file, applying the patches, loading the libraries. It does say that we're on an old build, whatever. You know, it's what works right now with the Raspberry Pi. Preparing the level world. Hey, and you can see it's using CPU load, memory. We got our network. We have our stats on the side. So now what we can do is fire up Minecraft and go to this IP address and port. And what we'll do is I'll just click on it and it automatically copies that to your clipboard, and we'll fire up Minecraft and see if we can get on our server. We have Minecraft fired up, and one thing to note is, remember, we are on an older version of Minecraft, so it's probably going to default to the latest version. You can go to installations and we can add a new installation. For this release of the server, it's 1.20.1. So we'll go back to play and I'll choose that. We'll click play there. It'll launch. I'll move Minecraft to the top here so we can see the logs and then the usage in the background there. So we'll go multiplayer and we want to add a server. It's going to scan your local network. It may or may not find it, but we're going to go add a server and we'll call it Minecraft server. And here is where we're going to paste our stuff from the server in the background. We'll click done and you can see it is Minecraft server, a Minecraft server. We click play there, we're connecting to the server. In the background, you see that we are connected. We have the load. So this is very CPU intensive, which is why you see it's, going to 300% of the CPU, etc. But you can see we are good to go. We can run around. I mean, it is going to take a while for the, map, the world to generate, but we are in Minecraft running off our Raspberry Pi all through Docker. One last thing I want to show you is how you back this up, because we went through so much work to do this. We need to back it up. Back in our terminal, we're going to create a backup file. So we'll go sudo nano backup.sh. There we go. We'll paste in this big old command here, and you'll see on the documentation site, the only thing you need to change is up here where it says DB password. You need to paste in the password that you used in the Docker Compose file for all the database stuff. So we'll go ahead and save that. You can also switch where it backs up if you want to go to like a network drive or something like that. Look at the file, look at the code there. You can make whatever changes you want there. And now we need to make it executable. So we'll go mod plus x backup.sh. Forgot to do sudo plus x backup. Like to show you that stuff. We screw up too. Got to put in the little blooper things there. And now we run it. So we will go sudo bash backup.sh, and it's going to go start stopping some stuff, doing some backups, and create a backup file there. So you can see it's got the name of what it is, the date and the time. If we do an ls here, we could see we go into the backups folder that it created. So cd backups, and there's our backup file. And every time we run that, it'll go ahead and create a new file that is based on that date and time. And of course, you can use things to automate those backups based on times and etc. You can find some stuff online about how to do that. There you go. There is a Minecraft server running in Pterodactyl on a Raspberry Pi 5. Is that something that you probably should do? Well, for home use, it could be fun. For production use with a bunch of people, definitely it's not going to work. But that was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep doing good.